Did you know that there are two more renter protections in LA City that went into effect on March 27th, 2023? In this guide for tenants and landlords, we are going to run through the amount of rent that a tenant has to be behind in order for a landlord to evict for non-payment of rent. And we're going to cover the new Relocation Assistance for Economic Displacement and tell you exactly what this means in LA City. Hey there, Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates. This is the place to turn to understand LA regulations for tenants and landlords. And remember, we can't give tax or legal advice, but for the most honest and up-to-date real estate advice, subscribe to this channel. In part one of this video, we ran through the LA Just Cause for Eviction ordinance that went into effect in February. So if you're ready to run through the two latest renter protections in LA City, hit that like button. And let's get started. In the city of LA, March 27th, 2023 and later, a landlord cannot evict for non-payment of rent, no matter what the reason is for non-payment of rent, until the amount owed exceeds 1 month's rent as per fair market rents in Los Angeles. So what does this mean? We're going to show you. And you can see here in the ordinance exactly what I said, and the fair market rent that's used for the calculation, we're going to show you a chart in a minute, will change annually, and it's set by HUD every year for the metro area, and it is based on the number of rooms in the rental unit. And additionally, when the landlord does serve a written notice to the tenant, they're required to state the number of bedrooms in the rental unit. So that's a new requirement for the 3-day notice to pay or quit. And as a landlord or a tenant, you are going to visit LAHD's website. I have a link below, and you're going to look at this chart because this chart is going to give us the current levels that a tenant must exceed in order for an eviction to take place. And again, it's based on the bedrooms in the unit. So an efficiency is a studio, goes all the way up to 4 bedrooms. So $1,534 would be the dollar amount for an efficiency for a studio. So a landlord cannot move forward with an eviction for non-payment of rent until a renter in a studio is behind at least $1,534. Now, if their monthly rent is $1,800 and they miss 1 month's rent, then that tenant has exceeded the amount and the landlord can move forward with the 3-day notice to pay or quit and the unlawful detainer. If the monthly rent is, say, $1,250, the landlord would have to wait until the tenant misses a 1 month plus before they can move forward with the eviction. So this is an important change in the city of LA related to evictions for non-payment of rent. And don't forget that the numbers will change every year. So it will be up to tenants and landlords to visit this page to see where they are at for the threshold. Relocation Assistance for Economic Displacement. That's a mouthful. This is another new LA City renter protection. And what this states that if a landlord gives a rental increase of a certain amount that's large enough and a tenant decides to move out, the landlord will owe relocation assistance. We're going to show you the relocation assistance amounts, but first it's important to take a look at the ordinance because the information on LAHD's website is accurate but somewhat incomplete for an important reason I'm going to share with you. Paragraph A is very important. It lays out exactly when this is triggered. So it would be an increase that exceeds a certain amount within a 12-month period. Now, currently, the amount is 10%, but it's important to notice that the rental increase that exceeds the lesser of the consumer price index for all urban consumers plus 5%, or 10%. What this means is right now, while it's currently 10%, it could be lower. If consumer price index drops, if inflation starts to go down, we could see that it could be 5% plus 2 or 3%. So this is a moving target, and you're going to have to visit LAHD's website as a tenant and landlord to verify the amounts. A few other important things in here. If the tenant owes any back rent, the landlord can deduct that from what's owed to the tenant. As far as what's owed to the tenant, it will be 3 times the fair market rent in the Los Angeles metro area. We're going to show you a chart. plus $1,411 in moving costs. It is reduced if the landlord owns fewer than one house and 4 other units in LA City. They will only owe 1 month's rent. And here's a look at the current chart from the LAHT's website in the center of the page. And what this chart helps you figure out is the amount of relocation assistance that's due. This isn't related to the rent increase. The rent increase is anything that exceeds 10% for a rental unit within a year. That could trigger this potentially. If the tenant decides to move out, they will be given this amount of relocation assistance. It is based on the fair market rents, and you can see the numbers here. So for a studio, the fair market rent $1,534, multiply it by 3, and then add $1,411. So a landlord in this case would owe $6,013. If that landlord is considered a mom and pop, they owe fewer than one house plus 4 additional units, then it's only 1 month's rent that would be given in the event that the tenant moves out. It's important to understand which rental units this will apply to. Some will be exempt, and they'll be exempt because you can't give anywhere near a 10% rental increase. So if the property is under the rental stabilization ordinance, currently rent increases are frozen. You can't give a rent increase at all. And then when it will be time to increase the rent, it probably will be around 3%. So you will not be at risk of triggering this ordinance at that point in time. It also would not apply to any properties that are non-RSO, but they are subject to AB 1482. AB 1482, the Tenant Protection Act of 2019, we've done other content, that is influencing this ordinance. And it says the same thing, that rental increases cannot be higher than 5% plus this consumer price index with a max of 10. That's the same number that we see in this ordinance. If a property is subject to AB 1482, you can't give anything more than 10% anyway, so you will not trigger this. If a property is exempt from AB 1482, which is a lot of houses and condos, if the landlord gives an increase that exceeds 10% within a year, and that could be 10.1%, this could potentially be triggered. The tenant can move out and they would get the relocation assistance. The other important thing that a landlord needs to know, and this is one that we're continuing to harp on, if a rent increase is 10% or less, that can be done with a 30-day notice. Anything that exceeds 10% in a year is a 90-day notice. That's the state law. So it's important to understand that a landlord who's giving a rent increase that exceeds 10% is going to trigger this ordinance potentially and have to wait 90 days to get their rent increase. So this should dissuade landlords from increasing rent above 10% in LA City. And don't forget that we're real estate agents. If you are looking to buy or sell, we have a regional sales and marketing office in Los Angeles and Orange County. Let us know your LA City renter protection questions below. And for updates like this and more, make sure you sign up for our free weekly email newsletter. It comes out every Sunday. And for more landlord and tenant updates you're not going to want to miss, make sure you check out this next video. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we want to hear from you.